Good afternoon, guys. I'm over here in Queen Creek, Arizona, and I just finished up the inspection and some repairs on this 2007 Monaco Dynasty, and I thought we'd do something a little bit different this time. Now, don't worry, we will look at the roof, and we will look on the inside, but one of the most common questions I ever get is, what is a good quality luxury diesel pusher when it comes to RVs? Or in other words, I get a lot of people asking me, what RV and what RV manufacturer should I buy? Now, unfortunately, that's a very loaded question for me to answer because I don't know the budget of most people. I don't know what luxury means to a lot of people. I know what it kind of means to me, but also I do a lot of dealer support, so I don't want to burn too many bridges, if you know what I mean. But now, that being said, I do have a few ideas. But in order for me to explain myself, we're gonna have to have a little bit of a history lesson. And don't forget, this is all going to be pretty much my opinion. If you've watched my channel for a while, you know that I am something of a Tiffin fanboy. That is to say, I really like Tiffin products. You might know them better as Allegro Bus, or even the Phaeton series. Are they the best built motorhomes out there? No. What I really like about Tiffin is that, one, they're a good company that stands behind their product. But two, as a technician, I can always see that they're improving their product every single year. They might have done something that didn't work well or had a failure, and then the next year they changed that and decided to make it better. And so every year they're improving their product, which is what I really appreciate as a technician. Sorry, it's getting a little hot in here. I don't have the ACs going so you can hear me. Let me run this awning out. This has a nice Gerard awning on it, and it's about 115 right now in the Arizona summer. Sorry, I kind of use this door as a windbreak because it's a little bit windy outside. But where was I? So Tiffins, I do like. I am a Tiffin fan because of that natural progression of them improving their product every year, and it's easy to see that improvement. Now, Tiffin's in Alabama, the Alabama-Mississippi border. That's Red Bay, Alabama. And then there's Winnebago and Forest City, Iowa. Now, we won't talk about Winnebago as far as luxury diesels because I think they do entry-level motorhomes very well, and that's about what I will give them. And then the last bastion, which almost rivaled Indiana for RV manufacturing, was going to be in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest. With all due respect to the workers and builders in Indiana, and especially the ones in Alabama that I do like, the Oregon builds were really next level top tier builds. So the Oregon builds that you'd probably be familiar with are going to be Country Coach, Monaco, and Beaver. Now, if you guys follow my channel, you know that I do own I did buy a 2001 Beaver Patriot Thunder, which of course was built in Oregon next to Monaco and of course Country Coach. Those builders, they were completely isolated from Indiana, and they did things a lot different than the guys in Indiana. Now, the unfortunate history lesson I have to point out is that maybe because they built such a good high quality product there in Oregon, the Great Recession hit the builders in Oregon really quite hard, and that Great Recession took place in about 2009. Now, unfortunately, both Monaco and Country Coach were casualties of the Great Recession. Beaver was also included in this because a few years before that, Monaco had acquired Beaver and Safari and started putting out their versions of Beaver coaches. They were Monaco Beavers. They were basically just Monaco coaches with the Beaver name on them. So what's the point of this rather boring and cursory trip down memory lane? Mostly I'm just trying to set the stage of trying to explain what I think was probably the absolute height of diesel pusher Class A luxury motorhomes. They were coming out of Oregon, and they were manufactured by Country Coach, Monaco, and Beaver. Not only did the manufacturers in Oregon build their own RVs, they actually built their own chassis too. So that gave them an opportunity to do a very strong build in which there was almost a semi-monocoque construction on Monaco, Country Coach, and Beaver Safari. And so they had very strong, durable custom-made chassis on top of the boxes that were absolutely top-tier boxes. The house itself that used high-quality materials with really good design and durability built into them. And I think the sweet spot of those builds from those manufacturers is going to be from about 2005 to about 2008. 2009, they were all kind of on the back foot trying to stay afloat as they were really being pummeled by the economy. But also don't forget, right about 2008, 2009 is when the emission requirements went in on a national level, where it went from the particulate filter on diesels to what's known as DEF, or diesel exhaust fluid. So not only do you get the highest quality, but you also have the least complexity, and you didn't have to deal with the emission problems of particulate filters and diesel exhaust fluid. That being said, most modern manufacturers, it does seem like about 2015, 2016 is when, as an industry, the quality really started to go downhill. That's not to say the stuff is bad today. Now, while this 2007 Dynasty from Monaco is a really good example of that sweet spot in build quality and durability, it's also a pretty good example of what a lot of dealers probably wouldn't want me to show you. What I would look for on a Monaco if I were going to buy a Monaco, and why I didn't include 2009 in those on the Monaco side. And so before we take a look at this one, I want to show you two things. The first one's going to be in this driver's side front compartment. If you guys are serious about looking for a Monaco RV of this era, I want you to go to this compartment door right here, open it up, and look for green circuit boards. If you find green circuit boards like this, it's a good indication that this is the Monaco you probably want to get. Starting about 2009, Monaco on the Roadmaster chassis went to a multiplex system where it has one big control board right here, or one big ECU. Of course, there's another one in the basement where you can't find it. Now, it's not that those systems are bad, it's just that that manufacturer that made those networks, those multiplex electronics, went out of business too, and it's very difficult to get support on that. These right here, these are from Intelitech. Now, Intelitech is a very strange situation too. There is support still available for it, and all these boards can be rebuilt and reprogrammed. So on the chassis side, this is what you want to look for. Like I said, it's not that the 2009s with that multiplex system is bad. It's a good product when it's working. It's just, as a technician, I've ran into problems where those modules can be difficult to get repaired or found or replaced or reprogrammed. So it doesn't mean they're bad, but I like these Intelitech boards a lot more. Now, I did say two things. The second thing is going to be right over here. We want to take a look at the VIN number. It starts with 1RF. 1RF is going to be an indication that this is not just a Monaco, but it is on the Roadmaster chassis. Because if you remember how I said that Monaco is kind of a victim of the Great Recession, they went bankrupt and were purchased by Navstar. Navstar International Harvester. It was kind of a shotgun wedding from what I understand. Now, Navstar did put out Monaco branded RVs, but using their engines and their chassis, and that one's been a lot more problematic. So if you look at a 2009 to 2011, 2013 Monaco, so if you're looking at a Monaco of that era from Navstar era, and you go to the VIN number and it doesn't say 1RF, it's not a Roadmaster chassis. It's going to be likely a Navstar chassis. And those are even more difficult to get service work done on. Of course, because everything's complicated, Navstar eventually did sell Monaco, and Monacos are owned by Rev Group. They're still built in Oregon, and they are built very well, but like Tiffin's, the modern Monacos are not going to be equivalent to that really nice area of about 2005 to 2008. Are the Navstar Monacos bad? No. The biggest issues I think most people are running into, besides the chassis electronics, is going to be that Navstar decided to use a more proprietary non-DEF based emission control, and that one's been a little bit more problematic. But they were dealing with a completely different field, and they didn't really know RVs very well. I guess that's the nicest way to put it. Oh, it's nice and cool in here. Now, that being said, you can also use that VIN number hack for Beaver products. So when Beaver was acquired by Monaco, they did have a few Magnum chassis that they still finished building the Beaver product on before they switched over to their Roadmaster chassis. If you want to know if it's a true Beaver and not a Monaco Beaver, just look at the VIN number. If it says 1RF and starts with that on a Beaver product, it's likely a Monaco Beaver. If it doesn't start with 1RF, it's likely a Beaver Motor Coach. So I do hope with that rambling, I kind of set the stage to kind of explain why I like this 2007 Monaco Dynasty, especially as a good example of what to look for in a luxury diesel. If you're looking for a really nice luxury diesel, like I said, in that sweet spot between 2007 or 2005 and 2008, there's a pretty good example of it and what to look for. And then hopefully I gave you guys a little bit of information that hopefully answered a few questions about what to look for when you're buying a luxury diesel. I can't say I know all the answers, but I can tell you after 23, 24 years, the coaches that came from Oregon in that time period really do seem to be the cream of the crop. So on this Monaco Dynasty, this does have a seamless gel coat fiberglass roof. Seamless means there's no radius, there's no molding on the side right here, and even on the rear cap and the front cap, they've bodyworked the fiberglass rear cap into the roof itself. So it's all been bodyworked together, so there is no seam right here. The front cap and the rear cap, they're integrated together. There is no seam up here. This is a true gel coat fiberglass roof. It's very durable. It's about as top of the line as you can get, with the exception of maybe a true bus conversion for a Prevost. And yes, Newells are probably better roofs too. Okay guys, I hear the complaints already. Not only is it a durable fiberglass gel coat roof, and that's seamless, it also has a steel superstructure underneath it. So it's not completely bonded to that superstructure. Down below there's going to be some foam, and so when you walk on it, it is common for it to kind of flex a little bit. That is normal. It's kind of floating, so don't worry about that. And then the second thing I will point out is these radiuses did just get repainted, and they did get some overspray on that. A little bit of lacquer thinner would take that off if it bothers you, but we will go ahead and inspect. Notice I am actually standing on the rear cap. It does flex a little bit, but this is very, very strong. We'll inspect the lights and make sure that they're not cracked. And they're not. I didn't climb up the ladder, but I'd already been up this ladder before, and that's good. If you look over here on the side, I do like to point out on Monaco, you do want to inspect this molding right here. Quite often it does break free where the radius meets the roof. The screws break into that steel superstructure I was talking about, and this molding will pop out a little bit, and then your roof radius will be loose. That's a good thing to inspect. I already know that this one's fine because I've inspected this one. This rear AC has been changed out from the original Penguin to a Brisk Air. I assume it's probably because at the time this whole thing happened, there was a shortage and nobody could find a Penguin, and they went with the Dometic Brisk Air because when you want cold air in the middle of summer, you don't really care what it is, but it does work. It works really well. And then they put a new thermostat for that, and those two are on their own thermostat out front. I'll show you on that on the inside. So if we look over here, we have one of the bedroom slide outs. This is a new slide out topper material. We're looking good here. So we look over here again, new slide out toppers on this slide out too. There are 4 slide outs on this one. I didn't check it, but this Brisk Air is not loose. Move over to here, we can check the fantastic vent, make sure it is in good shape, because we can pull these pins and inspect underneath it, and we look really good. I will say they did have these vent covers painted to match both the AC shrouds and the radiuses, and I think that really looks pretty good from the ground. We have this sewer vent right here. The sealant looks fine. Not looking too bad there. The molding is nice and tight. No cracks. This is a refrigerator vent. It's a residential refrigerator now, but there's a big hole in the roof, so that can't be taken off. We have another fantastic vent right here that we can inspect. So this is nice too. So this is after, see, don't look good there. But I like the fantastic vents on this rather than the odd attic vent that Monaco used the years before. This Penguin roof AC is nice and tight. I don't know if you guys can see that whole roof. It kind of flexes. That's going to be very normal on a gel coat fiberglass roof. I did inspect this skylight. We look pretty good there. I think maybe that was taped down when they painted it so they didn't get any paint on the skylight itself. This sewer vent looks really good. I don't see any issues with the sealant on it. The slide out topper on this side is also brand new. If you come over to here, we have a brand new slide out topper over there. And because I already put the Girard awning out, we can inspect the fabric and it looks really good. This radio antenna, I'm not seeing anything wrong with it. And this Penguin roof AC is nice and tight. If we do inspect underneath right here, you can see those cups. That's because they did plumb the condensate that comes from the AC. Instead of dropping on the roof, it'll go down to the ground up front. It's a nice feature to get. These are Winegard Power Lift TV antennas. Went obsolete very, very quickly. I don't recommend putting them up, but in the down position, they are digital and they will get reception just fine. This does have the Winegard Traveler DirecTV dish. Looks like the installation was pretty good. Our telltale wind sensor for the Girard awning is broken. Somebody had fixed it with some plastic spoons at some point. But like I said, I never trust these things anyways. If we come over here, our air horns are looking pretty good. The entry door awning, not seeing an issue with any of the sealant there. And we'll look over the front at the clearance lights. And again, I'm not seeing them cracked. And I did point it out, but you have the front cap right here. It has also been body worked into the roof, so there is no seam on the front cap either. That's that seamless construction that really Monaco and Country Coach pretty much pioneered. I do apologize if I went a little bit faster through that one, but it's getting pretty windy and hot up there at the same time. My camera's starting to overheat. But I do want to show you the slide out boxes. This is going to be a really nice slide out box. The roof of it, I don't know if you see it, it is again seamless on the roof, and it wraps around with a radius and it gets riveted in right here. They're using the Turnabond just as a flashing, but this is what you want a slide out box to look like. Even more modern RVs aren't built with slide outs this good. Now, since we're outside, we'll go around the outside pretty fast too. I won't try to highlight everything. I mean, compartments are compartments. But Monaco does have a really good access to the diesel tank. You can fill up from either side, and I like these because it's easy to get the sending units on these diesel tanks. And they do give you a propane barbecue hookup because you have a really big propane tank right there. Now these doors are going to be solid aluminum doors. They're kind of one-piece aluminum skin, so there's no molding on the outside where it's going to collect water. I am a bigger fan of manual slide-out trays. Power ones seem to be a little bit too slow for me, and less reliable has been my opinion. And you can see the ladder extension's good. It mounts up there. It's a good compartment here. And these are really solid doors. Another slider there, and of course Monaco gives us, as a technicians, barn doors right there to all the plumbing and mechanical bay in between. I also like it when the manufacturers give you access to the freshwater tank, so you can actually see how full the tank is, whether or not the tank the sensors are working. You have a nice big dump valve that dumps very, very quickly, and even that aqua hot heat exchanger, because your aqua hot is located behind this door right there. This one does have tag axles, and I know everybody's going to want to know the age of the tires, because that's the important thing, right? All right, so here's a common question: what's the age of these tires? What I see is 01/17, so the first week of 2017. So these are a little over 5 years old. It also has manual window awnings. This paint's in pretty good condition. I did notice a little bit of checking, not a lot of checking. I think it was mostly in the darker color right there. It doesn't come up very easily, but there is a little bit of checking. So it does have 4 6-volt batteries here, 2 chassis batteries above, and then 4 more 6-volt batteries in here for a total of 8 6-volt batteries. The second most common question I always get is what kind of engine's in this? What was the power plant? I do know that it is a Cummins, based on the badging here. It's an ISL. I'm not sure of the size of it. I'm sure you guys already know what it is, but at least it's a Cummins ISL. Now we're back right here. I'm not a big fan of complaining about other manufacturers, but there's a solid one-piece molded fiberglass door. That's actually more uncommon in modern RVs than you think it would be. A lot of them have gone to like metal panels that get epoxied on, and they don't do a very good job, and the whole engine door falls apart. So it's not something you have to worry about with this. That's going to be the air intake. Again, another window awning up there, and again, you can kind of see how good a condition the paint's in from here. One thing that you should always find on a luxury diesel is going to be a side discharge radiator. There's at least one manufacturer I know of out of Iowa that has a tendency of putting rear radiators on luxury diesel motorhomes. This is a must on a luxury diesel. It gives you better engine access, and it keeps your radiator from getting gunked up from the blow-by from the engine. Now, if you followed my channel a little bit, you know that on my Beaver, my 2001 Beaver Patriot, I talked about the zero clearance bus style compartment doors that I have on mine and how rare they are to find. And then I said something like, some manufacturers moved to just putting one of them on because it's so expensive and complicated to put them on. This is that manufacturer I was talking about. So Monaco only gives one of these bus style compartment doors, but at least it's a good one where you get to the shore cord, the fresh water hose, and of course the entire water compartment and sewer compartment. It's a nice one. This one still has the Aladdin system in it, and this Aladdin system is at least functional, because I know that I replaced the black tank sensor on this one. So you know I like that. And I think this is where the worst of the checking was going to be, on this side. Usually you'll find checking on a motorhome where it was parked in the sun, and the sun usually beats on the darkest color, causing the checking. It is unfortunately a plague in the entire industry. There's not much that can be done about it. The entire industry has just done a unanimous shoulder shrug and said, well, that's part of RVs, I guess. But it's really just the fiberglass itself off-gassing. The resins are off-gassing from the heat, and there's nothing that can really be done about it. So anybody that tells you they can do something about it probably isn't telling you the truth. But also, probably just going to give you a temporary repair that will eventually come back. It doesn't affect its weatherproofing capability or the overall strength of the fiberglass, unless it's extreme, but that's pretty rare. So in 2007, you got an automatic transfer switch with the built-in surge protector. Of course, there's one more long window awning on this side. You have a compartment door, and there's just the other side of the diesel tank that you can fill from this side, and that's going to be that propane tank I had pointed out. Monaco does like to put the air chuck right in this compartment. Sometimes it's in that basement compartment, but that's a nice one to grab. But it's nice to know where that is. And the last thing I probably want to show you is going to be back in this compartment. We already told you, look for those IntelliTech green circuit boards. But I'm going to run this generator out. I really wish my RV had a generator slide. And I wish I had it was mounted in the front cap like this, because this is really good access to the inside. This is a 10 kW Onan diesel generator, because it does have 3 roof ACs. I do apologize if it feels like I'm doing this really quickly and not taking my time, but I am baking in the sun quite a bit, and it's windy, and I'm doing my best to show you anything that I think is indicative of quality of that time and what to be looking for if you're looking for a diesel luxury motorhome. And having a 10 kW generator and 3 roof ACs is, I think, pretty important. I know I'm very jealous of that. I think mine is only a 7,500 watt generator, and I have 2 ACs. But let's finish it off on the inside. And now we already know it has 4 slide outs, 2 in the front and then 2 in the rear. But what is nice about this 2007 was about 2006, 2007 is when they moved from having just a tile entryway with carpet in the living room and back to tile in the kitchen. This is about the first year where they had tile throughout the entire coach, and that was a pretty big upgrade for the time, so much so that modern RVs still have a fully tiled interior, except they've decided that modern design features is going to be a high gloss, slippery tiles where you don't have to worry about that. And because this is such a quality build from Monaco, they have an integrated tile rug in the galley area. They didn't have to put that in, but that indicates the quality of the build that they were doing. Now the drivers and passenger seats, these are real leather. They are power adjustable. They are programmable, so you can set a memory on them. They're a little bit dirty, a little bit worn. The steering wheel is a little bit dirty, but not as worn or stained as I've seen on a lot of RVs of this era. It does have the nice smart wheel features for cruise control and wiper controls. You can see the Aladdin system's built in right there. We can go to the control. So it has a built-in engine diagnostics. Your coach monitor panel right there. It tells you how hot it is outside. That doesn't seem right. I think it's a lot hotter than that personally. It also has the side cameras too. So there's a right camera on it. I like this dash layout compared to the more digital ones that they started with, the 2008 to 2009. And I always like rocker switches, which is a good example of the sweet spot time period that I was talking about before everything went to more smart LCD Firefly type of networking control. This does have the valid air leveling, automatic air leveling, which is a good leveling system. And yes, we'll find out the mileage on this. It is 65,332 miles. But that's pretty good. You do want to see some mileage on it. That means it did get used. And that's a good amount of mileage to have on something that from 2007. This is 2022, so 15 years. It's a good amount of mileage. From both Country Coach and Monaco, you expect their cabinetry to be absolutely gorgeous. The guys in Oregon do cabinetry, I think, better than the guys in Indiana, personally, and I'm sorry about that. No offense to the workers in Indiana. They do build good quality, but cabinetry and walls of this era are very, very solid. It's 3/4 inch plywood for the walls. I mean, just really beautiful. Some of the more modern stuff uses 1/8 inch paneling on interior walls and something like that, but that's solid plywood with a wood veneer on it. Same with right there, and you can even see it's real wainscoting basically. So in the driver's side front slide out, they've upgraded it to reclining sofas. These are manual ones, which I honestly think are a little bit better than the electric ones. So the electric ones are pretty slow, but it does have a plug-in so you can plug it or charge your cell phone or any sort of electronics from this point right there. It is fabric, so it's a little bit more comfortable. Over on this side, it does have a more modern leather type sofa, but this does turn into a hide-a-bed, so at least you do still have the one bed out here. I didn't point it out in the front. You have your main TV. This is the original LG flat screen TV. Over here you'll find that dinette. I already showed that it does pull out and extend out. There's a table leaf in the back to extend it out, and this does move side to side, which is a pretty common feature in both Monaco and Country Coach, so it's more adjustable if you're getting in and out. And this is a very beefy buildup of solid surface Corian. All the countertops in this are going to be that solid surface Corian. And these are not roller shades, but they are the pleated day-night shades. There might be a little bit of staining on this one, but overall, it's pretty impressive that all the pleated day-night shades are working in this coach. Now, if we come over here to the galley, again, this is 2007, and this does not seem dated at all. It has the sculpted Corian backsplash with metal finished ceramic tiles as an accent. I mean, this looks thoroughly modern. The countertop selection was a very good selection. Has a pop-out countertop extension right there. I do like the asymmetrical galley sinks, so you can keep this as a nice work area with extra countertop space while just using this as actual sink. I do like this really thick, beefy splash guard plexiglass that has leaves engraved in it. Now, while there's no dishwasher on this model, it does have another pull-out cutting board, so a lot of a countertop space in this galley slide out. And this has a 2-burner residential propane stovetop. One of the better stovetops to have in an RV. And a sharp convection oven microwave with a stainless steel finish on it, so it still looks fairly modern. And this Whirlpool refrigerator has recently been replaced. It's a newer one. It's not the original one that came in here. And it's working great. In fact, I need to cool off a little bit. The ACs on this do work just fine, but if I have the ACs going, even though it has this beautiful decor ceiling panel in here to reduce air noise from the ACs running, it would still be difficult to hear me. And that's not mirrored. It's made to look more like a, I don't know, stone. It kind of comes out as a stone wood. And this is nice stone, soft trim on it. It's not leather, but it is very nice, and it is padded vinyl, which is nice for insulation and sound deadening too. So this passenger side front slide out goes from this point all the way to the refrigerator to a little pantry over here. And they've even found a way to make more pantry space in this found area. I mean, this is really nice cabinetry. Now, I do like this floor plan. It's not a bath and a half, but it is a very residential open concept feel to it. Behind this door, this is a solid wood door, is going to be the bathroom. It has a neo-angle shower door. This is a fiberglass surround with the skylight in here. It's a very tall shower. But I will do the obligatory step up. So it is about a foot step up. But it feels like this is a much taller shower than most showers. I'm not going to hit my head. If I step out, I'm not going to hit my head on the crossbar right there. When I'm standing in it, it feels like at least a foot and a half, if not 2 feet to the bottom of the skylight there. It's a good sized shower. Now, next to the shower, we're going to find the toilet. Now, this is the Dometic electric toilet. So it's going to flush with a push button. It'll add water and then flush. You can also add water if you wanted to. I don't have the water pump on currently, but it is still porcelain. And you can see it has a corner vanity in here and a corner medicine cabinet above. But now probably past here is going to be what either everybody's going to like or a lot of people aren't going to like. This floor plan comes with a north-south bed, which means the head of the bed is at the back of the coach and the foot of the bed is at the front of the coach. So it's not on a slide that would go out with the slide out. There's 2 slide outs in the bedroom. There's a wardrobe right here, and then this vanity over here. So that's the 4th slide. But if we look down at the floor, it's still going to be tiled throughout this point until it gets to the bedroom. I personally do like carpet in the bedroom. I don't really like getting out of the bed into hard floor, and you have to put a rug down anyways. You can see you get the bigger vanity in here with the same design touch as far as a backsplash and sink go. There is a double medicine cabinet there. Hello. And then next to the vanity, there is a washer. This is not the original one that came with it, but it's definitely nice to have a washer. And then next to the washer, there's another wardrobe. So you have this closet right there. Across the way, you have the main closet behind these 2 mirrored closet doors. So that's 2 decent sized closets you get in here. And this is a very open floor plan, which I do like about the bedroom. You don't feel very cramped walking around the bed or tripping over the hump right next to the back of the bed, because that's where the engine's going to be, so you don't have to worry about tripping on that hump. So a lot of modern coaches, they still have a step up either in the hallway or towards the back where you can trip really easily if you aren't paying attention. And yes, I do speak from experience on that one. Now this is a memory foam mattress. It's a newer one. There is still some storage underneath. This right here is supposed to have a little cushion on it, but you can get whatever pillows you want to match. This is built in. It's not a chest, but it does have drawers on it to give you a little bit more storage, but also allows you to sit down and watch TV during the day, and you don't have to lay in bed or sit on the bed to watch TV. Of course, you do still have a bank of drawers underneath the closet there, and I know I've bemoaned the point a little bit on the cabinetry. This has a nice satin finish to it, so modern RVs seem to have gone with a very high gloss to their finishes, and I'm not a big fan of that high gloss finish. This is a really nice satin finish. And even the valances have a very nice soft trim feature to them, and they're in good shape. You have the Aladdin screen back here, and you can control your generator and your inverter, and you can lock and unlock the doors from here. Also, you can check your camera from the bed. Now, even the headboard has a soft suede inlay on it, and I think this is a pretty nice setup because you can also lay in bed and watch that TV that's built into the wall right there. And again, like I said, this is 3/4 inch plywood, and they used 3/4 inch actual solid wood. Looks like cherry wood to me, to cap that off to make it look really good. And I know it's very difficult to appreciate it, but even though I'm hot and sweaty, it's very quiet in here because it's very well built and well insulated. So when I'm walking, it doesn't feel like I'm clopping on the ground. It's very, very solid. I just wanted to share this with you guys because I thought it was a good example of some of the best diesel pushers that came out in the RV industry. And like I said, it's about 2005 to about 2008. One of the best coaches that were made as far as durability, quality, and technology. So those are some things to look for. I hope you guys got some value out of this, because I know you do ask me a lot what I should look for in a diesel pusher, a luxury diesel pusher, and I think that was some of the items. My only advice always is find the floor plan you want, because that's going to be determine if you're going to use it or not. Don't fall in love with it completely, because like I said, most RV owners keep an RV for about 3 to 5 years at the most, and then you're going to be switching out to something else because life changes and you may have to do something else or have more beds or less beds. And it would be neglectful for me to mention that I think this one is still for sale. I don't know how much they're asking for it. I will put a link to the phone number for John Drenk. He is the broker on this. I'll put that in the description, so if you have any questions, just go ahead and contact John Drenk. But thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed that. It was definitely fun sharing the quality that you can find in this 2007 Monaco Dynasty. Thanks a lot for watching. And even though I'm not a huge fan of a multiplex network lighting system, in 2007 they did have this master light switch. So you can push and hold that down, and it'll turn everything off. But I still do like rocker switches. That sweet spot manufacture of that sweet spot construction. Now, while this 2007 Dynasty, while this 2007 Monaco Dynasty is a really good example of that. Remember I said Monaco kind of went, that Monaco was a, remember how I said that Monaco was kind of a, and now Monacos are produced, sorry, and it's right at that sweet spot. But not only is it a durable gel coat, not only is it a durable gel, let's see what we can see. And let's, right, and take a look at anything that might. Now we already know it has four. Now we already know it has four on. Now we already know it has 4 slide outs. And then lastly, and of course, at any rate, I'm hot, I'm tired. It's a nice coach. So lastly, I would be please, Max. But I know the last question everybody